Be back at it, but yet again, reacting to another Denmo video. Timing is everything with girls.
Yeah?
Me too. I feel like this is how they probably met.
This is how who? Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Jack.
I'm Sylvie. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, what's up?
Not much.
Want to split this cookie?
I'd love to.
Here you go.
What's up, boys? This is my first year ever doing this, but I've been getting a lot of emails about Black Friday and if there's gonna be any discounts on my programs and community. So on this Friday, I'm gonna be doing a Black Friday discount. I'll be giving 40% off Socializer, which means that you will get access to, first of all, the entire Socializer course, which includes 30 plus hours of videos, tutorials, step-by-step breakdowns, a video of me going.
What does your video sound like? Go to artlist.io and get the best music and sound effects for your video.
Going and talking to girls in real life, and I'm gonna teach you how to do the same thing.
I think this is how our parents met, so.
Sweet, do you want to walk with me? Where are you going? I was gonna go take a nap.
Really?
Yeah,
Whereabouts?
south.
Like that way?
In my room.
Oh, okay. Can I come now?
This is a really bizarre interaction. This is extremely atypical.
With you?
She's like inviting him over for a nap.
Okay.
Now I want you to imagine
She wants to go to Pound Town. That's what she means. He basically just hit it out of the park in an instant. I'd be very apprehensive, but you know, you gotta take the W sometime, you know.
some random girl that you've had a crush on at some point. Could be a classmate of yours, could be an old friend from high school, could be one of your coworkers. Just imagine that they currently have a boyfriend already. Or maybe they did in the last couple of months. But then after the relationship ended, they went through a heartbreak. They spent a couple months where they just didn't go outside at all. They ate ice cream, scrolled on their phone, but
I hope he's gonna say that is completely not the reality. Usually women have the next relationship lined up before things end with the current relationship.
finally they're starting to get their confidence back together and go outside and talk to people again. Heartbreak can be very devastating. I know that when I went through my first heartbreak, it was hard for me to get back out there and meet girls. Even being around other guys, I felt like I had like this open wound that I was single and I felt like just not really myself. So at this point, what you start doing is you exercise, you start working on your mental health, and you begin to live your life normally again as you heal from that pain and heartbreak. And girls go through this journey as well. And oftentimes, this is one of the catalysts for them to start going to the gym. You're going to the gym every day because you're Chad, but then all of a sudden, there's a new girl at the gym. You hold the door open for her. Now you guys have a conversation. You make some basic small talk, how long you've been going here, whatever it is, say hi to her, and then you get back to whatever it is you're doing. But over the course of the next couple times you go to the gym, you keep seeing this girl around. You guys start working out together, you exchange phone numbers, and you lay in bed just texting each other all night. You fall in love again, you know, that little feeling of vulnerability where you meet a new girl and you guys are going back and forth. Oh, it's priceless, right? And then eventually you guys hang out and you start going on dates.
I'm wondering when the advice portion of this is gonna come into play.
And next thing you know, you have a girlfriend. And that was probably completely unimaginable before it happened for you. I know it was for me, because I used to think that I am defined by my past failures. If I wasn't successful with girls before, why would I be successful with them now? And that's the problem that happens with most men. They've never had that situation where they run into a girl organically, start a conversation, get her number, and go on a date with her. And because they've never had that experience, because you've never had that experience, you just don't think it's possible. But it is possible. And my point is, it all
I mean, I do feel like some guys must have that mentality, and I've seen videos of guys talking like that, but it's also like, I can't imagine living in that headspace where you don't even think it's like remotely possible at all.
comes down to timing.
I'll get your number. It's a good cookie, eh?
Oh, really good.
What do you do for fun?
I like going for walks, reading.
Okay.
I like
Tall guys.
art. I love tall guys. Tall guys are great.
Respect. Okay. cookie crumbs in my throat. I'll text you sometime, okay? Bye, Sylvie.
Sounds really good.
Love you. Yes.
All right, so as you guys saw, I was able to have a conversation, set up the idea of
That was a, I mean, I guess so. Here we go with some actual good advice. Not by him so far. I'm sure he's getting to it, but that interaction was bizarre. Like, that girl was weird. It seemed like that girl was DTF, and he kind of wasn't. That was a situation. A lot of guys need to understand that they need to prepare for every eventuality and also every outcome. And by every eventuality, I mean how it might go when you interact with people. And that one in particularly is very weird. That girl is very weird. No offense, but that is a very strange interaction. So that's important because there will be times where the woman that a man is interacting with, who she's just met, where the woman's way more awkward and weird than he is. And you need to realize that if you're actively getting better at this kind of thing, then that is going to happen more and more and more. And that's actually common in a way. That was the most extreme example I've ever seen of a woman being like real weird.
something we could do together when we hang out, exchange the phone numbers, and then send her on her way and get back to what I was doing that day. Now, it's funny because that day I was literally filming pranks and social experiment videos. She had no idea that I actually recorded that until I went up afterwards, and I told her.
I have something to tell you.
I got half a cookie though.
Oh, you motherfucker, she used me for my cookie. Are you kidding me? Oh, how dare you, Sylvie. Shame on you.
But this allowed us to see a beautiful, candid interaction between a guy and a girl. And you could easily be that guy. You just need to know how to go and approach girls in the first place.
I was gonna go take a nap.
Really?
Yeah,
Whereabouts?
in my room.
Oh, okay. Can I come nap with you?
To whom it may concern. When I came to Canada, I wasn't able to find a job.
And I wasn't expecting that. I actually
Exactly. Of course you weren't expecting that because that was wild. I'm gonna go take a nap. Like, think about the thing is, women kind of have learned, and rightfully so, to like lie about what they're doing, because they do things cautiously, right? Say she's going around the block to a coffee shop. If the guy's a weirdo, he might like follow her. He might like find out where she works and legitimately stalk her or like harm her in some way. So women should be kind of like, for the most part, unless they're having a really good interaction, sort of like lying about what they're doing. So for somebody to say they're going to go take a nap, it 100% gives off the signal like a woman most times isn't going to outright say, I'm looking to score to a guy. She's going to say something like that. Like, I'm going to go take a nap. Because what other reasonable reply can a man have to that? Like, what do you say to that? The only thing that makes any sense is like, well, hey, can I join you? So that, in a way, is that woman saying, hey, I'm looking for a hookup and you look kind of nice. Let's go. Right? Because a woman can't outright say that. So instead, she says something like, I'm going to go take a nap. Because why would a woman say that when she could say any number of other things that don't have this, like, implication of, like, intimacy, I guess?
had to go and do more filming that day, but then she started talking about going back to her place, having a nap, and literally there will be situations like that that present themselves where you are just going and talking.
And you got to think about it from a safety perspective. Like, this woman doesn't know this guy. He could be very dangerous. So if the fact that she's comfortable enough to say, I'm going back to my place to take a nap, that, as opposed to, I'm going just over there and I'm meeting up with my friend or my boyfriend, right? Something where it, like, sends a clear message that, hey, if you're some weirdo who's trying to attack me, I'm within nearly viewing distance, nearly eyesight of somebody who will protect me from the danger that you potentially impose on me, right? So the fact that somebody's like, "Oh yeah, I'm heading home alone and I'm going to take a nap," right? Meaning I don't have any place to be. I don't have anything to do. Like there's subtext to what's being said, and he picked up on it, so that's why he's like, "Oh, well, can I join you?" Right? Like I could see how a lot of guys out there say stuff like, if you so much as ask a woman out, you're just like going to be kicked out of college, you're going to be arrested, you're going to lose your job. No, that's not the case. In that situation there, he was very direct and very forward by asking if he could join her for her nap, right? But he's only doing that because she's giving out that vibe. She's basically saying, um, I feel very comfortable with you and I'm gonna go do, like, you know what I mean? Like there's a reason that somebody would, I guess, say that kind of thing. It's hard to really explain.
Walking to a girl at the right place, the right time, you do start walking with her, you go back to her place, and you sleep with her. That has happened before for me, and it can happen for you too. If I hadn't walked out and eaten that cookie and started that conversation with her, I never would have met her in the first place.
Oh yeah, and this is one thing that I think is important, and why I tell men that the best thing you can ever do for your dating life is to just become friends with a woman. Not necessarily a woman that you're interested, but it can be a woman that you're interested in. Just being friends with women, you'll come across, like I've been friends with women where, say they have a party and they tell you, say their friend is there, one of their female friends is there, and one of their female friends is looking to get lucky at this party, and she tells that to her friend, and say you're in the next room and you hear this, right? You know that her friend is looking to score. So you can kind of tell, you'll be in many of those situations where you can tell when a woman is out and looking to get lucky, right? And you can easily observe how that person is acting different than other interactions you have with them. And you start to pick up on these little signals, little indicators, and you that's how you learn to interact with women, is you allow yourself the opportunity to gain experience like that, where you actually get like a woman's unfiltered perspective.
Just like,
When that specific situation happened to me, but it wasn't in like the next room, it was literally in the same room. Like we were kind of, like one of them was hosting a party, and we were just drinking, kind of waiting for other people to arrive, and she just flat out said like, "Oh yeah, my friend over here, she's looking to get laid tonight, blah blah blah." And like I clearly wasn't going to hook up with this girl, because me and the girl I was friends with, we kind of had this whole like flirtation thing going. Like clearly I was kind of spoken for amongst these two girls. So this other girl looking to have some fun that night with whatever guy happens to approach her like I wasn't an option in this scenario, right? So literally, like stuff like that has happened to me, and just being friends with other women, whether intentionally or not, have like taught me so much.
if you were going to the gym and you had gone at 3 p.m. instead of 9 a.m., you might not have gone at the same time as that girl you have a crush on did, and you might not have had the opportunity to hold the door open for her and start a conversation. It's
Again, I've said it before, I can never see myself going to the gym. I really have no interest in ever dating anybody who is like a gym rat. It's just not a hobby that I give a crap about, and I never will, so I would never really have something in common with somebody who does that, who like chooses to spend their time doing that. And yeah, I get it. There's a lot of positive benefits to going to the gym, but you could also just eat better. You can make better choices in your diet and your that will make it so you never have to go to a gym. So like I don't know, I just don't get it. I just don't get why you would choose to spend your free time doing that. I think for a lot of people it becomes like they use it as a vehicle for like meditation and like self-reflection and like it makes them feel better. But personally, I just get that feeling from hobbies that interest me more and things that I find to be more productive. As crazy as that might sound, like I'm not saying that going to the gym is specifically unproductive. It just isn't productive in a way that I give a crap about.
All timing. There are girls out there that you might have had success with in the past, but at the time they were just going through something like a breakup with another guy, and they were not in a position where they could be emotionally open and consider getting into a relationship with somebody new. There's also times where girls are just really busy with work. Sometimes a girl will move to a new city because she got a new job, she just got her apartment settled.
And that's something you just have to accept, right? Like sometimes it just isn't going to be the right timing. Sometimes, like you said, the woman just isn't ready for a relationship. And a lot of times it's frustrating because it genuinely doesn't make sense, right? Like it doesn't make sense that the person is neglecting that part of their kind of their deep needs and what would make them genuinely happy, but there's nothing you can do about it, right? Like there's been times where me and somebody else who had like just an infinite amount of in common had gotten along for years and years and years and definitely both had interest in each other for years, literally years, but they were just very busy at the time and we never ended up dating, right? Never happened. Even though realistically, um, you know, it's like we were absolutely perfect for each other in so many ways, but the timing wasn't there. So it never happened and it never will happen, right? And that just is what it is. It it just is what it is. And it doesn't matter because you'll find somebody who does make you happy regardless. You keep searching and you find it.
She's alone. She doesn't have any of her friends or anything like that. Each weekend, her parents are coming down and keeping her company. She's working a job that's taking up pretty much her entire week, and she's just sleeping in on weekends. She's exhausted. And you bump into her on the subway, and she doesn't even make eye contact with you because she's just not in a place where she wants to be talking to anybody right now. Then there's other times where on the weekend, you go and you're chilling in the park, you start a conversation with a woman walking her dog, and next thing you know, you guys spend an hour together, you go get a coffee, and then you say, hey, I gotta go to my thing, but let's do this again. How about...
I think I pretty much pointed that out very recently in a different video where if you're approaching somebody, if you can turn that into a hangout, like he's saying, oh, we have a good conversation here, let's continue this somewhere else, let's go get coffee, yada yada, then that will often lead to being like, hey, well, let's do this again. It was great meeting you, blah blah blah. And then you go and you meet again and etc. etc. Like that's kind of a perfect scenario and that's what you have to be aiming for. And that's kind of what creating your own timing is all about, right? Is you kind of have to allow yourself time to allow things to progress in a simple and logical way.
Sometime next week, we can go for a hike. You give her the digits, she texts you. Next thing you know, you go on 1 date, 2 dates, 3 dates. And because it's the right time in her life as well as your life, you guys happily get into a relationship. So that's my point.
And it's also the truth that, say, as a man, you pursue a woman, you ask her out, you have this like very flirtatious thing, but then she gets back together with her ex, or she starts dating some guy she met. And as long as it wasn't a thing where you were like actually like necessarily going on like real dates, if it was just like a slight friendship that was forming that had like flirtatious undertones where you clearly were both feeling each other and feelings were like starting to bud, those can pick up at another time, right? Like maybe this relationship that she's in lasts like 1 month. And then you know what? She's probably the whole time she was dating that guy, she might have been thinking about you, right? So you need to kind of, in that scenario, you have to be willing to kind of disappear from the person you're pursuing's life, right? Even if you've met up a couple times and you started to build a friendship and feelings, let yourself have that time, right? Let that time let time kind of stand still where it's like, all right, we had this thing and it was starting to maybe become something and it was very nice, but it's not going to happen right now. So I'm just going to let this stand still, and we're just going to like kind of not talk to each other for a little while, and then later on, if you're like single or whatever, we hit each other up, and then it's like no time has passed, right? It's like you didn't skip a beat. It's you get back in touch with each other, you meet up, and you just continue on as to where you were before. And if that person's meant for you, then that's what will happen. I'm not saying be hung up on somebody and like keep trying to talk to them in that time and like build a friendship with them in that time, or keep trying to pursue them in that time. I'm saying literally don't talk to them. Don't communicate. Give them nothing but the smallest of small talk, because and they'll genuinely appreciate that, because then you, in their mind, you'll remain this person who they were starting to have a friendship with, starting to like, but then due to circumstances, due to timing, things had to completely plateau, and you just neither one of you even talk to each other. And then maybe it builds back up in the future. So it's kind of like, it's not, don't have the mentality that that's you like being on the bench or you being on standby. It's just, we had this nice thing, it couldn't continue. So we just basically kind of ghost each other until maybe it is the timing and things pick back up.
Points. It's all about timing. Now, the best time to be ready for you is always. There's only two things needed. One, preparation, and two, opportunity. When you're prepared and an opportunity presents itself, all of a sudden these two paths cross, and that's when you get lucky. And I know that that's a triggering word because a lot of people in the comment section tend to think that everything in life is all about luck. But I want you to think about luck in that regard. You're prepared, and then the opportunity presents itself. You're ready to capitalize on it, and then you do. And since the opportunity...
Oh yeah, people, luck plays like almost no aspect, right? It is such a small factor. You're in control of your life. You're in control of the interactions you have. You're in control of your approach to everything. And ultimately, you're in control of timing. And how you're in control of timing is you're not going to force the wrong timing. You're going to allow time to reach the right timing, and then you go in, right? It's, if you're baking a batch of cookies, you don't pull them out at the wrong time and expect them to be, perfect. You have to pull them out at the right time. And that requires some waiting, right? And you're smelling them, and they smell really nice, and you want those cookies. But guess what? They're not done. You grab them too early, they're going to be terrible. It's not going to go the way you expect it to. You're going to get sick,
Opportunity is there. There is the girl for you to speak to. She is single, and you got into Socializer or one of my other programs, so you understand how to be charismatic. You understand how to have the conversation, how to properly...
Exactly. That's what I like about this guy is He's all about like positive thinking, taking ownership of your actions and your interactions, and he's about just having fun. Like that right there, that's the key to all of it, is having fun with people. You've done it in the past. I don't care who you are, you've made a friend at some point in your life. And the way that you probably did that is you had fun. The reason that you care about any friendship you ever had is because you had fun with that person. And you got to learn that you can have fun with basically every person you meet. There's a way to have fun with everybody. And a lot of it's just simple, basic communication. Like making somebody laugh by doing a stupid dance, making somebody laugh by telling a joke, or simply setting them up to tell a joke. Have you ever heard of the rule of three in comedy, or any kind of principle of comedy? You can literally create situations, basic interactions. First, some of the first words you speak to a person can be setting them up to tell a funny joke. They tell the funny joke, and all of a sudden, you're laughing at their joke. They're laughing that they made such a good joke, and you technically made that happen. And it's just this fantastic way to create an awesome interaction right off the bat.
Build her interest throughout talking to her, and then set up the idea of a date and exchange phone numbers because you're ready, you're prepared.
Now, the phone number, it's the same thing as getting the socials or making a specific plan to meetups like the next day or later that exact day. Now, why that's so important, you cannot skip that step, because otherwise it's just some nice interaction you had with somebody and you're probably never going to see them again. And if you even do bump into them again, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be weird. They're going to think you're like stalking them, or you're going to think that they're stalking you, or it's going to be weird. So you have to close out the interaction, and you do that by like getting a number or whatever it may be. And not only that, you should be getting their number for a reason, because you already know where you're going to take them out on a date, because you've hopefully in your brief interaction learned a little bit about them and where they might like to go. So then when you call them, or preferably text them or send them a social media message, you already know what you're going to say. What the first thing you're going to say is, let's do this exact thing. And maybe you look at their social media before you text them, before you message them on social media. You learn a little bit about them and figure out where they would like to go, and you go there with them. And that's going to be a way better sell. They're way more likely to say yes to that plan because it's something they already want to do.
That is so important. So get ready, be ready, stay ready, and then keep executing. And I guarantee.
So yes, you have to be ready for the outcome to be a positive, good outcome. You ask them out, they say yes, you go on a date. Where are you going on a date? What are you going to say on that date? What are you going to wear on that date? That date, hopefully, you're good. You literally need to plan it out. Like, I'm going to go here. We're going to do this thing because they like that. Then we're going to do this. And then if it goes super well, we'll do this. Right? And then you want to plan in your head how it's going to go to lead to that it going really well outcome. And just by doing that, just by preparing and having a plan for the very first interaction you have with them leading to all of that, will make it so much more likely that that is what happens.
You will be able to get a girlfriend. That's how you do it. Next time you're having a bad day, watch this video, play it back a couple different times. It all comes down to timing. Look at this. See this? This is going to be your dick. It's going to be burning right off of your body.
That's crazy. That is just crazy, sir. Why would it burn off of your body? That sounds so insanely painful. Can you even survive that? Can you survive that? Come on, man.